Chairman Gann, recording has begun. I can't hear him.
It's 6 p.m. I call this meeting to order, and we'll start with Pledge of Allegiance led by Commissioner Sampson. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First item on the agenda is approval of minutes. Assuming all the commissioners have had an opportunity to review, are there any questions or comments on the minutes? Do I hear a motion for approval? Is there a second?
I second.
The motion's been moved and seconded. By show of hands, all in favor? Any opposed? Did you show a hand? You weren't present. Good clarification. Okay, the minutes are approved. Next item on the agenda, Pinegrove Neighborhood Alpha, final plat. Go to Director Harrington for the staff report.
Good evening, Planning Commission. Members, for the record, Janine Harrington, Director of Planning for the town. So the final plat that is before you is the Neighborhood A. They're breaking it up into 3 phases. So there's 3 plats, 1 through 3. The applicant owner is DR Horton. Engineer is Rogers Consulting. So this subject property is located on the northern end of the site, just south of Rosewick Road. The site is proposing 236 attached single-family dwellings or townhomes on approximately 35 acres. The overall proposed density is 19.88 for the entire, for that section, and overall density to date is 11.26 dwelling units per acre. So it's within the confines of the master site development plan. So in accordance with the town code, section 17324, they've requested the review and approval of the final plots for neighborhood A. I won't go through all of the background because I think we've gone over that enough times already. So as mentioned, they're looking to develop 236 attached dwelling units. Overall, the master site development plan does not require any minimum dimensional standards. However, they are proposing to have 20-foot front setbacks, 25-foot set. My mouth would work. 20-foot front setbacks, 25-foot rear setbacks, and 5-foot side setbacks throughout the development. And I've done an overall density calculation just showing the different neighborhoods that we've approved: neighborhood K, neighborhood O, and neighborhood A, with their total dwelling units per acre. So in accordance with Chapter 173-24 final plat, staff remarks that the final plats are consistent with the preliminary plat that was approved on January 3rd of 2023, and it is in conformance with the applicable sections of the town code. School seat allocations are available for all 236 units. The applicant purchased 112 school seats at a 1-to-1 ratio from the county. And so the remaining number of units would require 58.28 school seats from the town using the Charles County yield factor. And so we do have enough for the ones that they would need from the town. There is currently water and sewer allocations available for the 236 units. So basically what I've done is taken the total approximate usage for neighborhood A, which would come out to 59,000 gallons of water and sewer per day. The estimated town capacity that's remaining is 128,678. So that would bring us down to 69,678 thousand gallons per day. So we do have water and sewer to accommodate the project. Staff is recommending approval of the Pinegrove Neighborhood A Phase 1 through 3 final plats in accordance with Section 173-24 of the Town Code. And I'm happy to answer any questions you may have of me. Yes, they are online.
Chairman Gann. Director Harrington, I thought we did neighborhood I as well.
We did the preliminary plat for neighborhood I.
Okay, and this is the final.
This is the final for neighborhood A.
In any order,
Huh?
because they're not doing it in any order.
Well, they do have an
Well, not
order.
to us.
Right. Yeah.
Okay, all right, thank you.
I failed to ask, is there any comment from the applicant in addition to what Director Harrington said?
Danielle Conroy with Rogers Consulting. No additional comments, and thank you to Director Harrington for her presentation.
Thank you. Commissioner Banks, you had a comment?
I do. I just have a minor question for Director Harrington. On page 2, at the beginning of the milestone dates, you have an asterisk by the 2020. Is that denoting something in particular? Is there a reference somewhere else in this that the asterisk is intended to speak to?
So the asterisk, it's not noted on here, that was the date that the property was purchased by D.R. Horton. So it had been owned by the previous owner for 20 plus years, and the development had gone stagnant. So that was the starting point for them redoing the plans and coming back.
Okay, thank you.
Other questions or comments from commissioners? Commissioner Sampson?
Yes, I have 2 questions. The first one is on page 13 of the agenda packet, item number 12. I just wanted to make sure, because I assumed it was, where it states that no title report has been reviewed. I'm assuming that's a generic comment on that vicinity map.
Yes.
Okay. And then back in January, when we did the preliminary plat, we had set a condition that there would be milestones set in agreements that everyone would agree to. And also that the traffic impact study would be discussed during that time, during those. Has that been done?
Yes.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, how many meetings have been had, or how many dates have been set?
We don't have set dates, so it's every 750 units or every 3 years, whichever comes first.
Okay. That's all.
Okay, I have one comment. On page 2 of the staff report, proposed development, toward the end of that paragraph, mentions that the overall density expected is 6.5 to 15 dwelling units per acre. Is that for the entire Pinegrove at the
Yeah.
end? Okay, so, and your calculation is for everything approved to date.
Correct.
Okay, so a question for the applicant. Do you see any challenge maintaining that expected density between 6.5 and 15 between now and the end of the project?
No, sir, we do not.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments from commissioners? So the staff is recommending we approve the Pinegrove Neighborhood A Phase 1, 2, and 3 final plats as presented. Do I hear a motion for that?
Chairman Gann.
Yes.
I move to approve the Pinegrove Neighborhood A Phase 1, 2, and 3 final plats as presented.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
I second.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Okay, by show of hands, all in favor, raise your hand. It passes unanimously. Thank you very much. And to the applicants, thank you for your presence. Have a good rest of the evening.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Chair
you,
and
you
Planning
too.
Commission members. Thank you very much.
For the estimated water demands, that's very helpful, so we appreciate seeing that.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Next item on the agenda, Chapter 191 Zoning Code Revision Draft. We'll go to Director Harrington's staff report.
Thank you. So at the previous planning commission meeting, I proposed bringing an amendment forward. I did get a consensus that the planning commission was interested in reviewing this. So for the proposed amendment that we're looking at, it's to use number 25, religious assembly, in order to provide them with their own dimensional requirements under the residential code. In 2022, the town approved separate dimensional requirements for cultural institutions in the same manner under residential zoning districts by ordinance 22-15. Currently, under the code, a religious assembly is included with all other permissible uses. So it's not broken out separately, and it would have to comply with the stricter regulations for the residential zones. This did come forward because of a real life instance with the Willing Helper Society. They're looking to do improvements on their property. And because of the maximum lot coverage and the different dimensional standards that are required at this time, they would not be able to do any expansion of their building. The only other option would be to get a variance from the Board of Appeals. So since we did this with cultural institutions, we're looking to do this with religious assembly as well. I know that we need to look comprehensively at the residential zoning districts and kind of pick out any uses that need to have separate dimensional standards. It's just something that for the time being, this is what was most important. So staff is recommending or is proposing to break out the religious assembly to fit with the same dimensional standards as cultural institutions. So under all residential zones, the minimum lot area would be 0 or none. The minimum lot width would be none, maximum lot coverage none, maximum height 50, front setback 10 feet, side setback 10 feet, rear setback 10 feet, with 10% green space and 5% public use space. With that, I'm happy to answer any questions that the board may have with the proposed revision.
Okay. So by making the revising chapter 191 to say all other permissible uses, this would accommodate the expansion that the willing helpers want to do.
Separating out wow, I can't speak tonight. Separating out religious assembly from all other permissible uses would allow them to move forward with the expansion of their building. This affects several other churches and religious assembly related facilities throughout the town. There are several in the residential zones. So this will accommodate all of them to be able to do expansions or upgrades to their buildings.
And would they have the capacity to accommodate the green space in the front? Okay.
Yes,
Okay.
that would all be part of the review that we'd have to do. It's just at this point, the biggest limiting factor was the maximum lot coverage. So when you look at a site and you look at the maximum lot coverage, it was at 25%. Basically, what they have existing is all they can have. They can't do anything else. So when you take into account parking, buildings, those types of things, they had already pretty much maxed out on their maximum lot coverage.
I do have a question, Chairman Gann, and I may have asked this. Are we setting any precedent here?
We set the precedent with cultural institutions when we did that. So again, we do need to look at the zoning code comprehensively. We already have amendments that are going to need to take place for parking regulations, landscaping, different things that we've discussed over the past year. So we will look at that comprehensively, but for the time being, this is just something that we've done in the past with cultural institutions. So I'm bringing it forward for religious assembly.
And I do have a follow-up question. I apologize if I should know the answer to this. How are we defining religious assemblies?
I don't have the specific definition. It's in the zoning code, but basically any organization that is religious in nature. Like I said, I don't have the exact.
Probably as defined in the IRS code,
Yeah,
just like
yeah.
a charity.
We do have it defined within our zoning code. I just don't have it off the top of my head.
Thank you.
Other questions or comments from commissioners? I have one. So the way I understood you describing what the coverage could be, 0 on 3 sides, 10 foot on the front side. Would that still allow for sidewalk? I'm assuming since it's residential, but religious, it would still have a sidewalk?
Yes, it would still leave enough room for sidewalks. There currently is no sidewalks in that area.
Right.
I know that the county is working on the Washington Avenue sidewalk plan, but that 10 feet would be plenty of room for a setback.
So you remind me of Washington Avenue with the town and the county sidewalk. Okay. Other questions, comments from the commissioners? Okay, so staff is recommending that we, the planning commission, review the proposed draft code and provide a recommendation to the town council. So do I hear a motion from the commissioners?
Recommendation.
It's a
Consensus.
recommendation, so yeah, it's not a vote, so consensus. Is there anyone not in favor of passing this on to the town council for review? Not hearing any, then by consensus, the town council will get to see this next. And for those of you who came from the Willing Helpers, thank you very much for being here. Have a good evening. Best of luck as your church grows. Next item on the agenda, matters of information, planning department update. And I present to you Director Harrington.
Thank you again. So I don't have too much in the way of development reviews. The neighborhood A is currently the last one that we were really working on for the subdivisions. They are working on, for Pinegrove, they're working on some of the roadways and getting reviews done by the county for Roswick Road and the traffic light at that area and the traffic signal at Willow Lane and La Plata Parkway. So they're working through those as they move forward. There's grading on neighborhood Q up the north end of Roswick. I don't really have any other updates for developments at this point. I believe Steeplechase will be coming back for their preliminary plat renewal in December, since that was approved last year for phase 3. And that's really all I have on the development side. Staff is currently going through training for our new Municity permanent software. So that's exciting. We're hoping to have that live by the end of the year. And with that, I don't have anything else unless you have any specific questions for me.
So let me take this moment to back up to the previous item, just so that those of you who are here interested in what we just did. The next step in the process, and correct me if I'm wrong, the proposal to update the code as presented to us will now be presented to the town council. Is that
Correct.
Okay. And do we have an idea on when that might be?
I do not. I'll have to work with legislative to get that scheduled for review.
Right. Okay. Any questions or comments for Director Harrington on the department report?
I do have a question. So because Steeplechase, the developer, has changed, would it still be Steeplechase that's coming forward for the preliminary plat renewal?
Yes.
It would.
Yeah, they don't need to change the name. Even if it changes ownership, it can keep the same name.
So I'm just talking about who would be coming before us.
Oh, to my knowledge, it's still, still Ron Reimer that's representing for the time being.
Yeah.
Okay, anything else for Director Harrington? Okay, we move to our council person, Evelyn Bryant Ward, for the town council update.
Thank you, Chairman Gann. So our town council has been really, really busy. I think we've kept our attorney really, really busy. As an update for the planning commission, the town council, of course, we lost one of our council members, and we are in the process of identifying a council member for Ward 1. Because we certainly can't replace Councilman Goldsmith. And we're working on a pension plan, reviewing the pension plan to make some accommodations for our police officers. Because of the type of work that they do and the nature of the work, we're looking to add an overlay to the pension plan to accommodate an earlier retirement for them. Bird City Pocket Park. So what's the committee?
People played it beautiful.
People Play It Beautiful has identified a space in Wills Park to do a Bird City Pocket Park. And they're working on the development of that. We'll have the groundbreaking.
So it's actually over off of Centennial Street.
it?
Yep, Centennial and St. Mary's Avenue. It's actually owned by the Wills Group.
Okay.
You maybe thought Wills Park,
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's the Wills Group that owns it. But
Okay.
it's that open area by Centennial Street and St. Mary's Avenue.
Oh, on the northwest corner.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so they'll have the shovel will go in the ground next
Monday.
week on the, is it on?
I think it's Monday.
13th
Yeah.
at 11.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. A lot of things that we're working on for the town, that's requiring a lot of time and engagement from the planning department, our attorney, town manager. I think it's all hands on deck trying to get things moved. We're looking at building a police department because our police department has grown tremendously, and the space that they're in they have truly outgrown it. They're sitting on top of each other. So we have identified a space, more to come on that, to start building a new police station for them.
Good.
And that's it.
Any questions for the councilwoman? Okay, is there anything else to be brought up for the good of the meeting?
Isn't this your last meeting?
Pardon me?
Isn't this your last meeting?
This is indeed my last meeting. Yes.
So I personally wanted to say thank you for being on our planning commission and being such a great person to work with from the staff level. You've been on, how many years have you been on the planning commission?
Before the Walmart Supercenter election, which was, I think was in 2011.
Yeah.
It was
So-
on before that.
So you've been on for a very long time. You've seen a lot of things and you've offered great insight and great recommendations, great feedback. So I greatly appreciate everything that
thank
you've
you.
done for our planning commission.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to piggyback off of that. You and I were chair and co-chair together
Yeah.
in 2018, and I learned a tremendous
Gosh, has it
amount
been that
from
long
you.
ago already?
Not just in bringing information forward, but the respect that you bring to the staff members when you made recommendations, had questions, and you didn't, you never failed to come prepared, with excellent questions because you had done the research and you had such historical expertise with regards to many of the developments that have been in the works for many years. So I will not say that I'm going to hold you hostage anymore. I have resolved to let you go. But I really appreciate all that I learned from you. So thank you so much
Well,
for your
thank you.
service.
Thank you very much. Thanks to everybody for everything that you've done. It's been a great run. I've really enjoyed it. And I would hope that each one of you will enjoy your continuing time on the committee. It's been a great experience. So thank you very much.
So just to kind of let everybody know
Wow.
what's to happen next, we do have two applicants that I will be taking to the town council on the 17th, I believe it's when we'll have that meeting, to get recommendations and approval to bring them forward to start in December.
And so we will need to select a new chair at the December meeting as well.
So that'll be on the agenda.
Yes.
Who am I to ask that question now, right? Okay, anything else for the good of the committee? Not hearing any. It's 6:24. I adjourn this meeting. Thank you all very much.
Thank you.